Okay, everybody, we are here with the great Austin Velez. Thank you, all of you, for coming in here. Um, I'm here tonight as Rich Brown. I'm not here as Frank Hope, as you've probably already surmised. A little less hair and a little grayer, but Austin Velez never changes. Austin, you look great.
It's amazing what hair dye can do.
Aha. I didn't realize that a star of your stature would share a secret like that.
Yeah, well, I think we agreed that I wouldn't be fully in character either. So there'll be some admissions here.
And have you had any facial work done?
No Botox.
Okay, got it. So, Austin, we always hear from fans who just love your appearances that you did on the show over the years. And I thought it'd be fun to have you here and talk a little bit about how we got to know each other. And we're going to show a very rare, very early clip of Austin Velez, which I don't think you've even seen in a very long time.
No, I thought these were lost. So you're a much better archivist than I had given you credit for.
Yes, they are now found. By the way, I can see that the chat is running. This is our first one, folks, so stick with us. But if you have questions for Austin, please put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them probably after the video. So Austin, we met back at NYU as students, but you actually grew up in Manhattan. And you knew about public access when public access was really in its earliest stages, right? Maybe tell us a little bit about what public access TV was like in New York growing up.
Yeah, I think Time Warner owned the system in Manhattan. We moved in 1977 and got hooked up, and I'd never heard of anything like public access where I came from in Queens, and I found my goodness, there are all these weird shows, talk shows, telephone talk shows, porn, just a whole collection of different unusual things that pretty much anyone in Manhattan could do. And the deal basically was, I guess it's sort of like a prototype of YouTube, because essentially anyone who lived in the area, and that would have been Lower Manhattan in the case of the system that I was subscribed to, could produce a show for free. Now, the problem was that most people did not have equipment, so a number of studios popped up, and you'd have to pay to use the studios, but they did try to keep the costs down. So it was really a big democratizing influence in terms of people being able to get on, and it was a real, mind-blowing experience for me.
Right, and then so eventually, we started playing around with this whole medium, and with some other people that we knew from NYU, and you ended up appearing multiple times. I wrote down you were on the episode with Bobby Boris Pickett and Rick Derringer, Lisa Sliwa, Frank Nastasi, and Sue Simmons, the news anchor from WNBC in New York, who for some reason agreed to come on the show. And you actually sang the News 4 theme song to her.
Yes, and a little known fun fact is that David Green taught me the News 4 theme song that I sang on the show. So all credit to David. He has a lot of superpowers that viewers of the show, just seeing him sort of stony faced, don't really appreciate.
So you knew David
Yes.
at NYU, and would you say that David is an unusual person? Because there's a lot of people are curious about him.
Yes, he definitely is not in the median of the population. He definitely does it his own way, and definitely when we were in college and in the years just after we got out of college, that was really on display, and he's just an original character.
What's an example of something with David, in real life that you experienced that you thought was kind of unusual?
Well, there's the famous to us thing that he did that I don't know if viewers know about, but after the live shows, we would get together as a group of friends at a nearby restaurant, and he would order a glass of iced tea, and then he would put a large number of sugar packets into that glass. And it was something where we would remember the number of packets from the previous year, so we would try to outdo that in subsequent years. And I think the last time it was something like 70 sugar packets, and I actually think he fainted after drinking it. And I guess the thing I forgot to mention is he drank after putting all the sugar in. He drank the glass in one gulp, so he ingested all of this at once. And I think the last time he fainted or became woozy, and his girlfriend at the time said, no, you got to stop doing this. And that was the end.
So it's not a good idea to put 75 sugar packets into a single drink and down it all at once.
Right. And I'm not even sure if it's good to put 75, non-sugar sweetener packets into a glass of iced tea and drink it. I know my personal limit is 2. I don't know if I could stand more than about 4 or 5.
So tell us, Austin, did you always, were you always a singer? Did you always enjoy singing? How did you become a singer?
Well, we will make the admission right now that I'm quite well aware of the fact that I'm not able to carry a tune. So it was something of a joke. I got this from my mom. My mom was a great nurse and a great mom and a great wife in her time. She was a terrible singer, and I acquired her voice. And I don't know, at some point, I think I think maybe as a result of watching the Gong Show, back in the 70s, I got the idea that it was okay, to go on stage and sing badly. And so that's the shtick.
Did your mom get to see Austin Velez sing?
Yeah, I don't remember. I have to say, I do not remember her reaction.
Okay. And now you, so you're also one of these people that is like has a lot of knowledge of top 40 and yeah. And so if I were to name like a year in the 1980, if I said like 1983, could you tell me what the top song was that year?
Yeah, the Police, Every Breath You Take.
Every Breath You Take. Oh, very good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And okay,
that was number 1 for 8 weeks.
Can you sing us a line from that?
Every breath you take, I'll be watching you.
You've still got it.
Yeah. But I was very sad because it displaced my favorite song of 1983, which was Flashdance, What a Feeling. And, sadly, we're recording this a couple of months after my heroine, Irene Cara, passed away. But that was a great song. Yes.
Well, so, we found this old clip of Austin Velez, you, in the archives, and we want to share that with our audience here. Before Frank and David hosted Beyond Vaudeville, there were some early experiments with the show. And the host that we had in place was Michael Kaufman, who was an accountant. He was an accountant, right?
Yes.
He was an accountant, and but his brother was Andy Kaufman, the late Andy Kaufman, and he was trying his hand at being an entertainer himself. So I'm going to run this clip, and this is going to be you'll see Michael hosting and introducing Austin Velez in his very first appearance. And I think also on the panel is Kevin Kalia, the movie critic, who eventually teamed up with Bub the Dummy for his movie reviews. So let me just get this going, and we'll take a look. All right. And here we go.
Okay. We're now ready for our next guest, a gentleman who calls himself the new Frank Sinatra. Quite honestly, I've never met him before tonight, and I really don't. Well, let me just introduce him to you, Austin Velez. Let's welcome Austin Velez.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. I mean, the first question I'd like to ask, and if our viewers are watching, why do you call yourself the new Frank Sinatra?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious, Mr. Kaufman. I am Frank Sinatra's clone. I am like Frank Sinatra in every way. I look like him. I speak like him. My mannerisms are exactly identical to his. And, of course, my singing voice is exactly identical to his. I am Frank Sinatra.
Well, let's take this one at a time.
Right.
You look like him.
Yes.
Kevin, I mean, could you help me a little?
I don't think there's any resemblance.
I think you might need these glasses cleaned off. I mean, it should be obvious to everyone in the viewing audience that I am Frank Sinatra. And I mean, I cannot believe that that you can't realize this fact. And after all, you are a film critic. I'm sure you've seen Frank Sinatra many times. Isn't it obvious to you that I look exactly like him?
I'm afraid it's not.
I can't believe that.
Okay, all right, well, you think you look like him, okay?
Yes. I don't think I look like him. I know I look like him.
Did you always look like him? I mean, like, were you born looking like Frank Sinatra? Like when you were born, did your parents go, ah, he looks like Frank Sinatra?
No, it was, my parents did not realize that at the time I was born. It occurred in my early 20s when I was performing at Lanny's Steak Chop Emporium in Provo, Utah, where I do a nightclub act every night. And many of my fans came up to me and said, "You are Frank Sinatra. What are you doing being Austin Velez? You are the next Frank Sinatra, and you've got to fill that role. That role that you owe to Frank's public." I mean, after all, Frank Sinatra is an old man. He's on the way out. We need, the public of the United States needs another Frank Sinatra to come and replace him when he passes on. And I am doing this out of the demand of my fans and the demand of the American public to be the next Frank Sinatra as a service to the American public.
Were they saying this because you sounded like him or because you looked like him?
Because I sounded like him, looked like him, acted like him, the worst. I didn't realize it at the time, but the public told me I was Frank Sinatra.
All right, I mean, everyone can see what you look like, okay?
Right.
We haven't heard, I mean, we hear how you speak.
Right.
I don't know that sounds so much like Frank Sinatra. Can we hear how you sing?
Certainly. Do we have the band ready?
Well, Frank Sinatra can sing without a band.
Oh, I was told that there was going to be a musical accompaniment.
All right, if you're trying to get out of it, fine.
No, fine. I will sing a cappella.
Okay.
I will sing New York, New York.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. This will be in the key of C flat. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. And if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With the applause. Come
You can
on.
sit. No, we don't have an audience on the show.
Okay.
You know,
Wasn't that good?
I thank you for singing. Yes. The audience can be the judge. We don't have to like influence them. What you may or may not.
Well, I'm
sound
sure
like.
that many viewers will send in mail encouraging me to continue in my campaign.
And if they do so, we will send them an extra postage stamp for sending the mail.
Okay.
agencies that specialize in lookalikes.
Right.
You can get a job on a commercial through these agencies for looking like Frank Sinatra. Have you tried to register with one of them?
I'm
Have
not.
they accepted you?
I'm not a lookalike. I'm not going to
I know
belittle
you're not.
myself.
We all agree that you're not.
No,
a
I'm not.
lookalike.
It's not that I'm not a lookalike. It's not that I'm not a mere lookalike. I'm not someone who just looks like Frank Sinatra.
What are you?
I am Frank Sinatra. Okay. I'm not going to belittle myself by going to one of these agencies and being, one of 100 schmucks lining up for bit parts. I am the Frank Sinatra, and I will be recognized as the next Frank Sinatra, not just one of many impersonators. And I'm going to the American public so that they can see for themselves that I am Frank Sinatra.
Kevin, I hope I'm not imposing, but what do you think of Mr. Velez?
I think you have the makings of a good comedy actor.
You obviously just don't understand. I mean, you obviously have never seen Sinatra live.
Oh,
or anything,
I've seen him lots of
person.
times. Not live, but
I think we've all seen Sinatra, and I'm very interested to see what our viewers are going to respond to, how they feel about you. What's your motivation for wanting to be the new Frank Sinatra?
Well, I'm doing it as a public service. As I pointed out previously, Frank Sinatra is aging and does not have that long to live and continue in his career. And the public needs someone to fill that void. And that's me, Austin Velez, will fill Frank Sinatra's void when he passes along. I'm doing it as a public service. I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it strictly out of the love of the American public and out of the belief that they need someone to be the next Frank Sinatra.
Well, good luck. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
The audience can take a look at you, and this is the guy who's going to fill the void. This is the gentleman who's going to fill the void for Frank Sinatra fans. Here he is. Kevin, does he have a chance?
a slim chance.
What do you mean slim? What hope does he
No,
have?
I'm not Slim Whitman. I'm Frank Sinatra.
Why don't you think he'll make it? You say slim.
Well, say there are a lot of, impersonators out there, but they actually, they attempt to look like the person. I don't think you look anything like.
You sure you haven't
Definitely
seen
sure.
The ophthalmologist recently, or?
No.
I think you really need to have your vision checked, sir. Really.
Maybe so, but I don't think so.
I mean, you're wearing glasses also, How do you know that you're seeing the right thing?
As I say, the public at the Lanny's Steak Chop Emporium tell me constantly, I am.
How do you know they weren't just fooling you and goofing on you?
Well, it's the many other places where I perform. Here in the metropolitan area, Beaumar Lanes in Perth Amboy will be performing tonight. For example, the manager was thrilled to have me. There's no doubt about it. I'm getting the highest. I'm getting the highest nightly payment of any act ever to perform at Beaumar Lanes, not only in Perth Amboy, but throughout the entire state of New Jersey.
Well, maybe they're the same people from Utah who came to New Jersey to give you a ribbing. I don't know.
I think that the bowling alleys, the veal chop emporiums, and the many other fine establishments around the country are realizing that that I am the next Frank Sinatra. And right now they can have me while I'm cheap, but soon, when Frank Sinatra passes along,
well, let's
it's going
not
to get a little more expensive.
I don't think people appreciate having you talk like that, but I do wish you luck in your career, wherever it may lead you, whatever it may be, and I do welcome you to sit with us for the rest of the show, and Kevin, please stay with us too.
Okay, Mike.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, it's now.
Bravo, Austin. That was fantastic. So you haven't seen that since when was that done? What year was that?
I think 1985.
85. Okay.
Yeah.
And when we were first trying these shows, they were actually scripted, right?
Yes.
And that kind of created a little bit of a problem for you,
Yes.
right? And what happened there?
A friend of ours wrote the script, and we actually rehearsed it with Michael. And then during the actual show, I departed from the script. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I didn't quite follow the script. And he was very upset. He reamed me out after the show about the departures from the script.
Wow. All right. Well, that's your memory against his. I might have to get Michael on to clarify that what his feeling is about it. So anyway, been looking at the comments, and just want to thank Kay Fur, who's letting us know that Shuli and others are telling people about Beyond Vaudeville, and we really appreciate that. And appreciate for also mentioned that they were tweeting this out tonight. So thank you for that. Phil Babb is saying Austin is a maverick. I have to agree. And what else do we have? Uziel had asked Austin, did you always intend to be in the media? Did you intend someday to be doing this?
No, I always thought of myself as more of a behind the scenes person. But, as I said earlier, I don't have a problem with getting up and singing. I go to karaoke, or I went to karaoke a lot before the pandemic. So I don't mind doing it, but I never really thought of it as a career.
And okay, and Buttermilk commented, Buttermilk Jug commented that they like the Austin that they were seeing here better than the Austin that you became. I guess you were a little more aggressive, and Andy had mentioned that in chat that he was not used to Austin being so confrontational.
Well, I think in the Frank and David incarnation of Beyond Vaudeville, the idea was to have me on, towards the end, to just do a number and come off. So I don't know whether this format where I actually came on and did the shtick about how I was the next Frank Sinatra and how dare you assume otherwise. I don't know whether I could have continued that. So maybe this was the best outcome ultimately, that I would just, go on and do the numbers as opposed to, sit and get interviewed.
Got it. Okay. And Tristan Jans is asking, did Beyond Vaudeville lead to other offers or opportunities for Austin?
No, but I did want to mention one story, which is the day after that show that you've just seen aired. I was at a computer expo at the Javits Center, and somebody recognized me. I was like, hey, that guy, he was the Frank Sinatra on TV last night. So I was like, oh, okay, wow, maybe he's going to ask me for my autograph. And he said, okay, well, thanks, bye. That was it. So my little brush with fame.
Okay, and Deb Butcher is asking, Frank Hope, why are you impersonating Rich Brown? Very clever. And then Phil Babb says, I might be soft-headed, but when I saw Austin on Beyond Vaudeville, I thought it was a genuine act. And I guess that's a compliment to your.
Well, I guess you could say it was genuine in that I did sing to the absolute best of my ability.
You did, yeah. So really,
I was a genuine act in that sense.
Yeah. Okay.
My real name is not Austin. I'll let you guys do your detective work to figure out what my real name is. You probably can do it, but I don't know if my current employer would be so thrilled about my my singing past. So I'm being a little bit incognito tonight. So
your employer doesn't know that you are a star?
No, it's a secret.
Let's see. Remote viewer 1006. Rich, you got to open up the BV merch shop. I'm needing that BV t-shirt finally. Okay, remote viewer, we'll work on that. Jeff Alphin is asking, Austin, did you work the door at the Trick or Treat show? I was thrilled. Oh, I guess Jeff was actually one of the trick or treaters on our Trick or Treat show.
Oh my God, I don't remember. Maybe.
Buttermilk Jug says, I once saw a movie with William Brown in it. William Brown, another one of our favorite regulars on the show. Hopefully we'll get William Brown on here too. Jesse Herman is asking you, Austin, who was the nicest person you met when you appeared on the show?
Well, I mean, I think Sue Simmons, really, she was just an incredible sport, and I think she was just ready for anything when she came on the show, and I liked how she reacted to my performance, such as it was.
We also we had done some live shows, and we did a show at Caroline's with Barbara Feldon from Get Smart, and you actually introduced her by singing the Get Smart theme song.
Yes, that. And I did that for about 45 seconds to a minute. And I think she was horrified because she came up about 20 seconds into my set. And I think she just wanted me to hand over the microphone, but I wasn't having it. I finished. Because, I'm that kind of professional, Rich.
Let's see. Uzil, I think that's the pronunciation, is asking why you guys haven't got your Wikipedia page yet. There actually is a Wikipedia page for Beyond Vaudeville. So if you go there, you'll be able to see a whole history on who was on all the episodes, and the live shows that we were just talking about. Those are all listed on there too. So yeah, go check it out. Oh boy, you actually got a request, Austin. From Jesse is asking, can you sing the theme song to Car 54, Where Are You?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's 10 years before my time.
Yeah, it's a classic, but it is an early one. There's a holdup in the Bronx. Brooklyn's broken out in fights. There's a traffic jam in Harlem that's backed up to Jackson Heights. There's a scout shoot short a child. Khrushchev's doing Idlewild. Car 54, where are you?
My God, wow, that's great. Yeah. The two guys from the Munsters were in that, right?
No. Fred Gwynn from the Munsters was on.
Not Al Lewis.
Not Al. Oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. Al Lewis was on that show, but not in a starring role. Joey Ross was the other star.
Right.
Okay, and remote viewer is asking how many more episodes are in the archive that are not on YouTube. There are still some. There's still stuff that has to get digitized. There's lots of video, all kinds of video, taking Izzy Fertel and Chairman Steve on a trip to the Great Adventure Amusement Park. There's just some really great stuff. Lots of extra footage of Tiny Tim, and so we'll get around to it eventually. Let's see. KJR is asking, awesome to see Austin. We need the entire BV on Blu-ray. Any chance? I don't know, KJR, maybe. Are people doing Blu-ray these days? I don't know. Jeff Alphin is asking about, how about She's Homeless? People seem to like your rendition of the She's Homeless song. What made you choose that number?
I mean, I thought it was fun. Unfortunately back then, I guess as now, New York had a huge problem with homeless. So I think it resonated with me in that sense as well. But it just had this strong chorus that I felt I could work with.
Okay. And Uzil's, let's see. Bring BV back as a streaming show. The world is in need of saving. BV could heal what ails us. That's very nice of you to say, Rogue Comics. I don't know that we're capable of healing the world, but I guess it's worth a try.
Well, the Cold War did end during the life of Beyond Vaudeville, so maybe Beyond Vaudeville for world peace. I just see it now.
Bailey George is asking, where's David Green? What's he up to these days? Do you all get coffee sometimes? Austin, do you see David from time to time?
I do. We're all geographically scattered now. So I live in I live in Northern California, but when I get back to New York, I always look David up.
Yeah, and yes, same here. I do see David, and I'm due to see him again. I just heard from him on New Year's. He always reaches out on New Year's Day to wish a happy New Year, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be getting together sometime in the new year soon. Matthew Fuller asks, what did Austin think of that lady who met the aliens when he co-hosted? I don't know, Austin, do you remember we had the Raelians on? It's a cult from Canada, and there was a woman who they believe that mankind was created in laboratories. Does that ring a bell at all?
Oh my God, I don't remember that one. And I co-hosted. You'd think I would remember. Has that been digitized and put onto YouTube yet?
It's up on YouTube, so
Okay.
So you can watch that and catch up with Matthew Fuller and be up to date on this as well.
Matthew, I'm terribly sorry for being unprepared for your question.
Artificial Banana says howdy. Buttermilk Jug asking if there'll be a BV reunion show for 2023. I don't know, Buttermilk. We'll see. Anything's possible, right? Uziel, final question for Austin. How do you think Beyond Vaudeville affected your life?
It's given me a lot of a lot of amusing memories, I guess, for people who saw me on camera cracking up at my own performance just before. I've shown it to people who entered my life long after I appeared on this. Now that it's gone up on YouTube, I show them, see what I did when I was in my 20s, and people get a laugh out of it. So I would say overall quite positive.
Great. Okay. And with that, we are going to have to say goodbye, everybody. And I hope we got to everyone on chat in the time we had here. We'll do this again, especially if you all come and want to see more. Just let us know and that you're enjoying it. Stay in touch with us on the Facebook page, and now we're Instagram and Twitter and all that junk. So okay, so thank you so much, Austin, for joining us. This has really been fun, and I'm sure it was a thrill for your many adoring fans to see you and what you're up to.
Thanks, Rich, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
Okay, bye.